Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to Chat Her Up. Today you have me, Joy, pre PhD. And for those that don't know what that means, it's a joke. Y'all know it's no such thing as a pre PhD. And we have Demisio. Hi, Dee. Today
I'm glad.
we are going to recap Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 14, episode 12. Don't trial this at home was the title. And um this was oh wait a minute. From the destination. Okay, let me take this out. This was the second to last episode of the season. We know we have one episode left.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if you care to go through scene by scene or if you want to get to the meat.
What you gonna say? I mean, not a lot really happened that was
Yeah,
interesting to
yeah,
me.
not a whole lot, but it was I at the end of this episode I was so disappointed. Just disappointed. Although I like New Jersey, I've always liked New Jersey. I started watching New Jersey pretty much toward the end of the first season, and eventually would catch up. Go back and watch those other episodes way before
Mhm.
streaming existed. When they were run reruns. But I was really disappointed with this whole entire franchise because while I don't think I'm emotionally attached to any of these people because this wasn't Atlanta for me or even Potomac. I used to not be emotionally attached to Potomac either. I just liked it. I just enjoyed it. I became emotionally attached later. I didn't really consider myself emotionally attached to any of these girls. Do you think you are?
Really, I mean, I like Teresa and Jennifer Aiden, but I wouldn't say like that. I'm emotionally invested like Beverly Hills or
Okay. That's your show. I got
Potomac or anything like that. Yeah.
right. I didn't
I,
like I don't follow none of these girls. I may
well, no, I
follow
do follow some of them. I follow some of them.
if I do, I don't even know who I follow because they're not, I don't go to their pages. Like I don't believe I follow Teresa. I might, but I really
I
don't
follow
I don't
Teresa. I follow
she don't come
Teresa.
across my she doesn't really come across my my line. And let me also say this. I'm a Facebook girl. I'm not really into Instagram. And my involvement with Twitter is pretty much chatter up related. You understand what I'm saying? I don't it's not really my thing. I do Twitter. I would be lying to say I didn't. But mine's is related to chatter up. In other words, the stuff that I'm putting on Twitter is all of the housewives stuff. And a lot of the times I'm really kind of copying Callie because it's something she'll put out. You know what I mean? It's not really, but this season, for some reason, I am emotionally invested and I'm kind of confused about that. Like, really confused because I never have been before. I'm in groups, I'm talking to these people, arguing with, and that isn't what I would normally do in regards to Jersey. And it could be also that I'm bored out of my mind because I've been off this summer. But um oh, he didn't went off. Well, he'll pop back in. Let me say this. This episode was kind of bothersome to me. I know that there are a lot of people that stain people are picking a side. You're either on Teresa's side or you are on Marge, Melissa, Rachel, who's ever side. And you got a couple of people that kind of sit in the middle. If I had to, for me, I guess you could say I'm on Teresa's side. That's just how I see the situation. It's not
Same.
so much that I like Teresa more or anything like that. Just based off what I visually see, I think that Teresa is on the side of right, but that's just my opinion. And what I mean
In
by
this
side of
particular
right is,
situation,
yeah, in this particular situation, like
when it comes to
I talk
Marge,
all day long about how wrong Teresa was with Jackie. And I'm so confused by all of the, I don't know if y'all know, it's a couple of rumors going around. Can we talk about that? So one of the biggest rumor that I read today is, so we have been hearing that Danielle had this big blow up where she apparently took this picture. I don't know if it's, I've heard it was glass, I've heard it was plastic. All we know is we saw people picking up a whole bunch of glass in some of the previews for next week. But I heard today that that's not in the next week's episode at all. So people were saying when they watched the show, so apparently the cast all watched the last episode, the last two episodes before together or separately, but at the same time when that right before they did that little reunion special.
right?
So, and Danielle's that part was cut out. And they said they were so confused watching it because that was allegedly part of the anger. So there's something that they're saying is missing. And it kind of, and I just shook my head because I don't understand what's going on with Bravo, because I was really disappointed when Teresa, who's been talking about this lead up with this, what's going on with this court case, and we end up finding out that they didn't even show it. Because Teresa posted on Instagram that the big chunk of what the lawyer said they didn't show. And that's kind of disappointing because we've been talking about it all the way, since the first episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you all are familiar with this podcast. It's called the Bravo Docket. It's two female lawyers that actually got a hold of the documents from Lewis's, and the girl's name is Vanessa's court case. And they read word for word and explain their complaints, what each one of them complained about. And they read, this girl, Vanessa, Louis' ex, is a nut job. Like, anybody, you don't have to like Teresa, but if you all actually are like your own thinkers, like if you think on your own, I advise people to go and watch or listen to this podcast. Because I know it's on Spotify, because I couldn't find it I usually watch my podcast through YouTube Music, who I pay for, but I couldn't find it under YouTube Music. I could only find it under Spotify. So I did listen to it under Spotify, and it's a long one. It's probably about an hour and a half, but I had to take my daughter and her friend to the mall. So I just sat in the park. I walked around for a little bit and sat in the parking lot and listened to it. And it's a doozy. Have you heard any of it, Amicio?
Mm-mm. I just know what I've read, like stuff online about the court case and all of that.
This lady, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but this lady, Lewis and her started dating in like 2018. It kind of took off fast. They was hot and heavy. They got engaged. He bought a real expensive like vacation house. It was like $700,000-$800,000. They renovated. He put a couple $100,000 in it, and then she moved into his house, and they start planning their wedding. Louis first of all, he a simp. like he a simp. He puts $150,000 in an account. Now, mind you, these girls, these ladies that do this podcast are laughing at Lewis like the whole time. They are not Lewis and Teresa fans at all. They're laughing at basically what he went through. But let me keep going. She and all of this, everything that they read, they actually had the physical documents. This isn't them going off blogs or anything. They had, and these are two lawyers. They said that, but they were kind of goofy about his mental anguish. Anyway, in these documents, they get engaged. He puts $150,000 in an account, and a couple days later, she takes $100,000 out. They on vacation when he figures this out. They had this huge blow up. They break up, and they both trying to get back to the house quick. She beats him. She gets back to the house, and he calls the police. The police have to get in the house. This woman then locked herself in the closet. They get out of the house, and the police gets her out of the house to get most of her things. Of course, they get back together, but under the condition, at this point, this is like their third breakup, under the condition that this money is hers. This $100,000, she won. So now he puts $250,000 in a checking account. All of this had bank statements because they say we were looking at the bank statements. And she takes $100,000 out, and he's like completely stressed out. So she
at this point.
Wait a minute. Oh, that ain't even the weird part. The weird part is she feels like he's bipolar. So she gets to, oh, I forgot to mention this. When they first kind of hook up and they're really, really tight, she decides she wants to be, I don't know, some kind of psychologist, some kind of therapist, but she needed to get her license. So he opens up an LLC, and he takes care of her mortgage and stuff. That's why she moves in with him. He takes care of their mortgage and stuff because they were eventually going to use it as rental property. And so she's living off of him while she goes to school. Then she gets her license and she starts to work. That's important. So she tells him at some point she believes he's bipolar. So she gives him a list of psychiatrists that she wants him to go to. And she emails him a letter written in first person as if he wrote it himself to read to the psychiatrist. He actually goes to the psychiatrist, reads this letter verbatim, and it was crazy as a road lizard. Basically talking about their sex life, basically calling himself crazy. It was insane. And that particular doctor said he needs to get away from her, and he wrote a letter on his behalf for court. Since that didn't work, she then gave him another letter, except the second letter, written in first person like he wrote it, was like even worse. It was almost like she had got a DSM-4, which is where all the diagnoses are listed, and read everything off for bipolar because she wanted him on lithium. That's actually in the letter. She wrote a letter that he wanted her to read. She wanted him to read as if he wrote it to his son too. Now he didn't do that because it was very sexual in nature, and because basically he's a sex crazed psycho. Let her explain. It's really, really weird. But that letters is really what broke them up. But it's so many details that it's insane. This lady is not right in the head. Like, I'm shocked that he could even deal. Ain't no. All I kept thinking is that he's a simp. And while that might be great for somebody like Teresa, you know, it's not a great thing when you got somebody that's using you, but anyway, this episode was disappointing. What did you think about it overall?
I think it was disappointing. I think it was lame of Marge to send that what she said. And Danielle is just such a lame as well. It was so gangster, girl. Shut up.
They say that Marge really didn't send those flowers, that production did it, just like production did it when sent those wreaths when they had their first season. I think it was her first season that she was on. Remember, Teresa had lost her mom,
Yeah.
and they had did that, released those wreaths in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said that production really did that, but she takes credit for it in the next episode.
Well, yeah, of course. She took credit for it in their arguments as well. She didn't brought that up before.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that she didn't get in any trouble if she hasn't, in regards to kind of dropping the bomb to Jeff Lewis about what that she really was talking to that lady. They say that in the finale. I don't know how true this is. If you don't want to spoil her, I'll give you 2 seconds to turn down whatever. 1, 2. They say that Marge exposes Jackie, that it was actually Jackie that was the first one to talk to this girl, actually had her at her house getting dirt.
But the thing about it is, Teresa doesn't care. So
I know
it's just
she
like,
doesn't. Well, we know she doesn't because they're cool. They're okay even now.
and it's really
They
not really a bomb drop. We already knew that Jackie was talking to the lady. Like it
I
wasn't
didn't
a secret.
necessarily know that, but I just
Yeah,
assumed
we
that.
all knew that.
I
Marge was the only
assumed that
one lying
Marge was
about
the
it.
driver.
No, Marge was the only one lying about not talking to the lady. Jackie was hiding the fact that she, was doing messy shit.
Yeah. So that's supposed to be exposed next week. But I don't think like I said, I don't think she cares. Or Jackie
And
may
I'm
have told
glad
her
Teresa
to
don't
have.
care.
I wondered if
Jackie
she.
may care, but I don't think Teresa does because Teresa knows she was wrong.
Well, Teresa actually responded and said that on something that, because they already done leaked everything. So Teresa responded by saying, I do realize that I also hurt her with the Evans stuff.
Yeah,
So she, it was a tit for tat. I guess the thing is, the difference is Jackie ain't lied about it excessively.
yeah,
It's really just been Marge that,
yeah.
for whatever reason, has been
And
lying.
Jackie had a reason. Jackie had a reason to do it. Marge didn't have a reason.
Yeah, it
Teresa
was
didn't do
because,
anything to Margaret.
yeah, it's
Margaret started with her. That's what kills me with those groups online. It's
and
just like for life for me.
And for people that keep asking, well, because Danielle mentioned this too, she's so out of pocket and so out of order. When she was just like, well, how is that different from talking to Laura? Or even, them talking to Laura last season. I was like, all of that, I'm not saying any of it is right. But the difference is all of that was in response to Marge.
Marge,
Like
yeah.
Marge was doing this. Lewis stuff didn't happen last season. It happened the season before last
It
when
happened
she
like
was.
2 seasons
Yeah,
ago.
it happened
Like
2 seasons ago. And Marge initially was like, well, I'm just doing this so she can get ahead of the story. That's not. Every time Marge was seen that season, she was dropping tea. The problem is she was talking to that woman. They were um talking to, she was talking to bloggers. They were trying to kind of work almost like a tag team. You put it out, then I talk about it doing filming. That's really the problem. Is
yeah.
and I it goes back to, I'm sick of these lazy housewives that get paid all of this money that don't have enough. I ain't gonna say talent, because who's to say that reality people have talent?
Personality.
They don't have enough personality to create their own storylines, so they're bouncing off of bloggers instead of just talking about whatever's going on within a group or within themselves. And that's the part that's irritating to me. Because if you look at this season is a perfect example of who is the weak links in this cast. Because without fighting about something outside, they can't stand on their own. That's why Marge is trying to milk this whole Joe may have cancer, because she
Mm-hmm.
really they don't have anything. Melissa has nothing. At least Dolores is arguing, not arguing, but trying to figure out what she gonna do with her boyfriend. I mean, I'll even give Danielle,
Yeah.
who I don't necessarily like, but she does have her own storyline. Rachel has none.
Mm-hmm.
Those people that could say, well, she's dealing a lot with her daughter, but she also has no personality within a group. Like I don't know how she got cast. Rachel has a personality of pocket
Rachel.
lint.
Yeah.
Rachel, she has a
Oh,
personality of pocket lint, and so does Melissa. Melissa actually doesn't have anything to offer this cast. She has been held on for so long
right
because
here.
people like her husband, and because she's been bouncing off Teresa. She don't have nobody to bounce off of. That's how you can tell who can stand and who can't. Melissa can't stand in this group. If I had to pick people to stick around, I mean, at least Jennifer bounced between everybody. She can get along and argue when she need to. She can stand on her own. Jen Fessler, with her messy self, can stand on her own.
Her
Danielle
own, yeah.
has
And
stood
Jen
on her
Fessler is
own.
interesting. Jen Fessler is
Yes,
actually
and
interesting.
I don't even like her, but yes, it's just certain people that cannot stand, who have not shown. Let me say this: who have not shown that they can stand on their own. That may be the appropriate. Uh,
Hey, babe, how you doing?
that may be the appropriate thing. But why I was so disappointed at the end of this episode was, you know, Teresa never really ever gets a good edit, and it seems like this is going to be the last season, as the Real Housewives, if we've known it. Andy was very clear that next season was going to look different.
Yeah.
Now maybe it'll include one or two stragglers, and maybe it won't. We won't really know until later, but it's going to be a long hiatus, I believe, and they're going to figure it out. I don't think they'll
I
do
think
a full.
they're taking a year off.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do a full reboot either. And also, let me say this: the worst thing, some of these housewives are talking themselves out of a job. I felt like Danielle talked herself out of a job when she went on Watch What's Happening Live and didn't show any remorse for what happened. I don't think that's going to go over well, because Danielle pushes a button, and many people do, but she gets in your face. She, in my opinion, is the liability.
Yeah.
Um, and I was actually surprised that Rachel and Melissa jumped on a bandwagon after Teresa released this letter, basically asking people to come on. She wasn't even asking Cass. She was just like, come on, y'all, let's chill with the toxicity. Let's chill with let's kind of calm this down. And Melissa and Danielle over the weekend was like pot calling cattle, but Rachel kept going on and on and on and on. She maybe had like 3 or 4 messages behind it, which is really immature, because my whole thing is, even if you ignore her or roll your eyes, okay. But it's very clear to me that they had talk. All I kept thinking is Potomac. That talk really did happen to them. And they had a talk. You either gonna work within yourselves, or you gonna walk yourself out of a job. And I still believe, I know you don't want to you don't want to deal with this. That's fine. People like Candace talked her way out of a job. Robin, although she didn't, I think she was let go because of wine, to be perfectly honest. But that's neither here nor there. I just believe that their conversations have talked themselves out of a job. Because say whatever you want, Teresa isn't refusing to film with anybody. I believe that Margaret has talked her way out of a job. I don't believe she'll be back. My prediction is you might
Hallelujah.
see, because I do believe it's possible that they'll keep Teresa. I do not believe they're gonna keep Melissa. I think they're gonna keep Teresa, or unless they make up. That's the only way that I can see it. And to me, I could almost guarantee you that they'll make up if they got kicked off the show and Teresa stayed. I could guarantee you that Joe and Melissa gonna find a way to call a truce if they weren't on the show and Melissa was. I mean, and Teresa.
Teresa, yeah.
I do not see it working out if Melissa remains on the show and Teresa doesn't. First of all, I ain't gonna be watching, but
Okay.
but because I can't. If they got all new faces, I might watch. But there's no way I'm watching this franchise without Teresa on.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm not that emotionally invested in these girls to stay
They
on.
need to they need to do like how they did with Miami, keep a few girls and give us
Yeah,
new girls.
that's what I think.
Because that was
Um,
perfect how they did Miami's reboot. Whoever was in control of the Miami reboot did a impeccable job with casting. Because when I tell you they cast delivers every single season,
I wonder why it's
every
not picking up. Why the ratings aren't that good?
the ratings are picking up. The ratings are fine. It's just that they always report the live ratings, which no one pays attention to anymore. I don't know why they keep doing that. They
Yeah,
they don't go by live ratings.
I know they don't. Yeah, I know.
So I don't be understanding why people be saying it now. Now a show that is actually underrated is Dubai.
I watched it a couple of times. I think the formula that we used in the 90s isn't working. I mean, not in the 90s. In the early 2000s isn't working for me. The
Because
2000,
Dubai gives everything that you would want a housewife to give.
yeah, they're not
Majority
situational.
of them are married. They're
Yeah.
actually friends for real. It's not like they got a group of girls together for TV. Those people, they like all of them are actually like real deal friends and have been around each other for years in real life. They're rich. Actually, they show glamour. Their fights are not extreme. You know, they're messy. They're funny. Like they give what Housewives is essentially about.
I've watched a few episodes. I can't connect for some reason. They're pretty. It's a nice looking cast, but it doesn't. I'm not
Like I
feeling.
said, same thing with Miami. They have their villains and they have their neutral party, and then they have their messy people. Like they have the hated person on the show, which is Larsa Pippins.
I heard she not coming back, or she
Oh
is coming back. That's what I
yeah, I
heard.
think the people that's let go is I think Gertie's not coming back. I don't think Julia's coming back. Which is actually a shame. But I understand why Gertie, especially after her last season, I understand why Gertie don't want to come back because she might probably whoop Larsa if she had to come back and deal with her again.
Did Larsa
Larsa,
and Michael Jordan's son break up?
no, they still. I think they did, but they got back together.
Oh, okay.
But that lady told Gertie she was faking her cancer. Like I just cannot like. Larsa is just horrible.
Okay. Well, I'm just not feeling it. Um, I just can't get into it, and I don't know why.
Miami.
Yeah, I can't get, and I
And I
tried.
hate it because it's like I said, Joy. You have, even though we disagree a lot on certain people, I do feel like you analyze these shows so well, and I just would love to hear your opinion about Larsa and Alexia, especially Alexia. I would love to hear your opinion about Alexia.
What do
Good
you think
grief.
about? Wait a minute. Let's stay on Jersey. What do you
Okay.
think? Let's psychoanalyze Dolores.
I feel like Dolores is one of those people that kind of just sticks around. She doesn't have like a certain spot. She doesn't pick a side. She just kind of floats between. She's one of those. She's a Cynthia, but Cynthia had just a little bit more personality than Dolores. She's
I'm
a Cynthia.
like disappointed with her, not
I am too because Dolores is a
because
fake
she
flip
talks a
flopping
good
bitch.
talk in her confessionals,
Yeah, and she doesn't
and
deliver
then
it in person.
right. I wonder, or is that the editing? Because when she was talking to Marge and she leaned in and she was like, "Why would you talk to that lady?" That tells me that, for one, she knows what's happening with Teresa. Because sometimes I wonder, are her and Teresa close? I'm so confused by their relationship because I can be cool with somebody that my best friend maybe not be getting along with right now, but somebody who has colluded with somebody that's really hurting me, and you talk to them every day and you best friends, I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm not possessive over my friends.
I mean, wait, say that again.
Dolores and Dolores and Marge's relationship, Marge paints it, and it could be her paint. In other words, Marge could be over exaggerating some things, and Dolores just didn't correct her. That's
I
possible.
Come on, as far
That's
as their
very
friendship is
possible.
concerned,
But Marge makes it seem like her and Dolores are like best buds.
I
Like
think they are.
Dolores is taking the spot that once was Jackie's. They talk every day. She's one of my best friends. She adores me. When she said, "Why would you talk to that woman?" Like that lady has. If wait a minute, I have to also say this, and just to kind of show you how quirky she was. When her and Lewis had broke up, Lewis was going through his house and found a folder, some files of this lady. In her file folder, she had a list of like ex-boyfriends. And if she met them online, she printed out their profiles. And let's say a guy said, "I love to go skating." She would write on the side of it, "He's lying. We never went skating." Or the fact that inside of these folders with these guys, she would have their social security number, birthday, their bank account numbers, their safe code numbers, their credit card numbers, all written down. And this is not stuff from like recent years. It could have been a guy she dated in 2010, and she still had that information in a whole, and not one, two, three guys, a bunch of dudes.
Wait, who doing this now?
That's Louis' ex.
Oh,
Like she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
yeah, because that's
Like
insane.
for real. Like it, and I'm not trying to say that Louis is a good guy, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been honest. I don't know Louis because we really didn't get a chance to know him, because he's been
Mm-hmm.
on defense ever since he been on the show. So we never
Mm-hmm.
get like normal, like sit around, kiki with your husband, and like we got to know Joe Judice. We
Mm-hmm.
knew he was an a-hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We got to know him. We don't, everything that we see from Louis, he's always on the defense.
yeah. Always, it never fails. Since he came on the show, literally from the time he entered, literally the season he started filming, Margaret was on it. It's just like Marge, girl, what's your like? What is your fucking deal? Like Marge is something else. Like seriously, Joy, you on mute?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I just heard my front door. My alarm just went off. I'm like, who went out the front door? But anyway, yeah, I just feel like they're playing this year. I was so disappointed. I just feel like they're playing in Teresa's face. I ain't trying to say that you make up and create a story, although they can do that with editing. I
Mm-hmm.
just wish that they, if this is the last season, you should almost give her a little respect. If for no other reason, it's because she's an OG. Say whatever you want about this franchise, but this franchise is successful because of Teresa. All
Yeah.
of her scandals, all of her jail, all of her court cases, all of her marriage, and everything that went on. This show is successful because of her. You give that OG a little bit of respect.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew when they canceled this season, and because they literally canceled this season because they only filmed for 2 months. They were supposed to film way longer than that. They literally filmed for 2 months. They canceled this, they stopped it and didn't go further. That's why it's only, I think we're now on, they stretched it to 14 episodes
Yeah.
or 15.
No, I think it'll be episode 13.
This was 14. Oh no, this was 12. So tomorrow, yeah, you're right. So Sunday is 13.
Yeah.
And then they'll have the finale, which is 14. That's
Right.
why this season is so short.
Yeah.
That's why and plus it was boring because they were at a standstill. I
Yeah.
can I understand why they stopped it. It's just like if you're gonna do that though, you know, they should have let things play out correctly.
Yeah.
I'm just really you gonna show Jennifer Aiden get punched in the side of her face, but you won't show when Danielle picks up a glass pitcher and throw
Mm-hmm.
it at somebody and it breaks. Really?
Mm-hmm. You
That's
ain't
not
wrong.
yeah, bravo. That's it's really disrespectful. You know, it's almost like you put people. I guess that's America. We like putting people on a pedestals and then watching them just fall, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what it feels like. This isn't cool. It's not cool. It's actually disrespectful. But
Yeah.
that's if you kind of think about it, they've pretty much did that with all of the OGs that are still standing. Maybe they want them gone because they don't have to pay them. They have to pay them a lot of money. But they can get people like Danielle who probably ain't getting nothing but $5,000-$6,000 an episode. Because they don't get a lot of money in their first or second. Their first season, I heard, is like a set amount. And it ain't a lot. Your second season, you get a little more, but they're not getting a whole lot of money. I can go back and laugh at Nene a million times when she
Well,
told
certain
me,
people are not getting no money.
well, those two, they're just in their second season. Danielle and Rachel are just in their second season.
Yeah.
So you know, a lot of it was like that when I first became a teacher. First thing that they used to do, like for real, was trying to get rid of the people with the heavy money. So they would have incentives for them to leave out so they could pay us. Because my first job, I only got paid $26,000 a year.
Woo. You gotta think about the time too, girl.
I mean, I get it. That was in 97, but that's absurd.
Yeah. Especially all what y'all have to deal with y'all with these badass kids. And I know if they bad now, they was bad back then too. So
Yeah. So this episode, I wasn't really impressed. I don't know what else to talk about. It was disappointing her sitting up there with her lawyer, and we didn't really get to see whatever it is that we were trying to, whatever it is that the lawyer was trying to make. And it was strange that they really couldn't talk about much anyway without getting in trouble. And I get that. They shouldn't be able to talk about that lady, you know, exclusively. It's like having a one-sided beef like we getting with Danielle, which is stupid. But she got this one-sided beef with her family, and none of them are available to uh
tell, yeah,
yeah, that's stupid.
yeah. And I mean, I just feel like at this point, she's the common denominator. Everybody don't talk to you.
Yeah,
Like everybody don't talk to you.
right.
Like, girl, clearly you're the problem.
Yeah.
First
Yes.
the first the brother, now the daddy, girl.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's just like that shouldn't even be allowed to happen. So I
Yeah.
mean, I get why they can't go into detail about what she's done. Although it's kind of a disadvantage because all of the stories that she wanted out, she got out through Margaret. That's really the real issue. I wish that Teresa had somebody to help her articulate things
I
because
feel like
that's
Teresa
the
do, but
problem.
in the moment, Teresa forget about all that. Because I feel
Yeah,
like
because
Gia
that's
be telling her what to say. But
yeah,
when she get in those moments, she did all they go out the window, child.
because that's the issue. It's not that she talked with the ex. Don't nobody care if she talked to the ex. If she had just talked to the ex, nobody would have known. It wouldn't have. Nobody would have cared. It was the issue was Margaret also bought the ex's stories on the show, and people say it was a whole bunch of ex. No, it wasn't. It was just one. People said, well, his ex-wife. That's not true. None of that is true. Every story that she had, even about the ex-wife or another girlfriend, came through this woman. It was
Mm-hmm.
this woman. It was one person.
Yep.
And Margaret Margaret just brought it to the show. They need to stop that too. Like if they hire somebody else, they need to stop with this blog mess. These vlogs and these vloggers are ruining reality TV. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like everything that's in the vlog shouldn't make it on the show. It's like a vlogger could create a story and make it could be loosely based on the truth. And people on TV will run with it and give partial information.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
I agree.
That's not cool. It's
That
not
is
okay.
what's ruining reality
And
TV.
it's ruining reality TV. That's why it's not enjoyable. That's why we have two different narratives. Why we always say in real time, this was going on. Well, a person who just watched the show, if they're just sitting down watching the show, sometimes they don't even understand what's happening. They don't understand the anger because that's, if you think about it, that's what we're arguing about. What's wrong with her talking to the ex? That ain't the problem. The problem is the things that the ex said Margaret bought on the show.
It's not even the fact that it's not even there. It's the fact that she lied.
And she lied about it.
She denied that for all of. I'm glad that Dolores brung that up in her confessional. How Marge is basically Teresa when Teresa had dropped the bomb. Dolores is in her confessional. She was like, "Well, this ain't really just that big of a shocker because Teresa has been saying this for years now at
Yeah,
this point."
and they showed it.
Yeah.
And they kept showing it. That she was saying, are you talking to the bloggers? Maybe you're talking to the ex. Like, so yeah, Teresa has been saying this for years.
And that man said 2021. That goes all the way back to when it first started. It was when Louis first came on the show.
Yes, like that's the issue. And it's just like people saying, well, she so-and-so talking about Teresa has not. That's very clear. Who has been talking to blogger, a particular blogger was Jennifer. But they all do it. We know that they all do it because we're getting leaks right now. That lady, this is what's the killer. This is the killer. That lady, the Melissa Old Nose lady, that lady who Jennifer was originally talked to, who been setting out all of their information, has been leaking who was leaking information from what happened at this little reunion special. And my thing is, Teresa ain't talking to her now, so who talking to her?
Right.
How does she know what happened at the reunion? Because we know Teresa or Jennifer not talking to her. And so the point is somebody else. They said that lady, though, was secretly, she actually had more than one account. So the Melissa Old Nose, she calls herself Gabriella, was posting all of these pro Teresa things, and she had a whole nother name where she was posting pro Melissa and them things and Marge.
Yeah.
And I have to say this, when Marge was talking to Jennifer Fessler, she seemed scared as heck.
Oh, she absolutely was.
Double talking. She talked like Trump. Double talking. Can't articulate her mouth. If this is going on, what kind of friend will sit up there and I'm gonna call so and so right now? She's not going. I'm calling my friends, trying to prevent them from going.
Well, because I think Jen Fessler wouldn't have went if she hadn't did all that.
Definitely would have. And she called Danielle. Danielle probably just said, girl, I'll tell you what happened. Danielle at least has a mind of her own.
Yeah.
But that was crazy. Yeah. And I'm like, why would she stop people from going? Because they gonna talk.
It's gonna be talked about regardless.
If it was just one person. Dolores was like, girl, I'm eating. She called Dolores. Girl, I'm eating. You ain't nothing you gonna say gonna stop me from going. She can't control her. See, that's why I said Marge is the problem. I really do think this cast could go on without
Marge. Yeah.
Because I do believe that Melissa and actually would have to get rid. I would also get rid of Rachel.
Yeah.
I would also get rid of only because she got the personality of Lent, and I don't even understand how she got cast.
Yeah. Me neither.
I don't understand how she got cast. It doesn't
Yeah.
even make sense.
Cause it does. Cause even I'm glad to. Cause Teresa even brought it up. I think on Watch What Happens Live or something like that. She was like, "Me and Rachel didn't have any problems last year. Literally none." And
Oh,
that is
they
true.
didn't.
And then Rachel and her husband came out of nowhere at the reunion.
Yeah, and saying that she talked to his um ex-wife, and
Yeah.
it is fact that the after that reunion aired, the editor who wrote the article admits that it was her. If you
Yeah.
go back and find that article, she even did a video to show how easy it was to find her based off of the information that John had on television. Because that's
Yep.
how she found him, based off of things he said.
Yep.
So, and she showed how easy it is. She actually did some kind of video of herself accessing these records. He talked too much.
Yeah.
It's just utterly ridiculous. Like, why would Lewis call and speak to the ex-wife and then leak it to the press to put it in the blogs when there's no issue?
Yeah.
There was no issue.
Yeah.
It's like they wanted to make a mark. It kind of reminded me of Joe. Like when you go back to Teresa and her mother telling her that Joe uh, had such a fit on at the christening was so he could make his mark.
Do
He
you
wanted
know? Do
to
you
flip
know
the table moment.
that?
And
Do
they're
you
really
know that they? Do you know that their dad actually slapped Joe at the christening? They just edited it out.
Oh, I believe it. He talked about him so bad. I was like, if you go back and rewatch that christening, it's an eye opener. The mere fact that his father was just like you, he basically called him a punk. He didn't say punk either. He said another word, but he called him a punk. They,
Because Joe was out of line.
yeah, he
Like,
was.
period. All he had to do was say thank you to Teresa when she came over and congratulated him, and that would have been it. He
Yeah,
didn't have to cause all of that. Like,
yeah,
he caused that. Like, all Teresa did was say, congratulations or whatever. That's all she said.
yeah. And
That's
he
all
wanted
she
to flip
said.
the table moment. That's what his mother said. His mother, he wanted to flip the table moment. And I think that that's what the Fooders wanted. The Fooders want to fight with her. It's so funny. I can remember watching Housewives of Atlanta and Nene saying that on the couch when she was like, I get it. Everybody got to fight with me. And I remember thinking, how arrogant of her. Not really understanding at the time that it's exhausting to be the perceived top,
Yeah.
whatever it is, because everybody got to fight with you. Like that has to be exhausting. And to Teresa's credit,
Oh,
she
Kyle
was
tried to pull that same stunt this past season with Sutton. Like, Sutton needed to fight with her. It's like, girl, bye,
yeah.
Kyle.
Yes. I was like, Kyle ain't really that interesting to me.
She's not. Kyle is not interesting at all. Kyle is
Although she does
boring.
sit at the top, Kyle has not been a good friend to her. It ain't a person that has ever watched this show that said, "Oh my gosh, she's such a great friend."
Hmm.
Like you watch season after season, and you ask yourself, "Do they like? Does
If
she
Kyle was a
like
good
her?
friend.
Yeah, like does she like?" No, it was times, especially that you're
When
when
Erica was going through all her nonsense, she was
and
horrible
that
to Sutton.
one crazy lady was on there. That only was on there one season.
Diana, yeah.
Yeah, when they had that argument and Kyle grabbed her by her arm, I
Oh, yeah.
remember wondering, like, are they real friends? Because I was even surprised when the season had first started, and I think Sutton was renting her house or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking outside. And I remember thinking, how was that possible that they're that good of friends? I was surprised by that because I didn't think that Kyle really liked her.
I mean, but you got to think about it though. College is self produces when the show is filming. So
Yeah,
you
I
got to
believe.
think about it. Sutton is like an easy target to go with, and it's
Yeah.
easy. And Sutton is gullible, so it's easy to come after Sutton and then still mask it over with a saccharine smile, as if she's still kind of trying to be her friend. And I'm glad that after this past season, Sutton's finally opening her eyes. You have
Yeah.
not been a good fucking
She
friend.
has, yeah. When she said that, I was like, I agree. And
Yeah.
I ain't on nobody's side for real on that. I do like Garcelle, but I don't really like I don't care about none of them. I don't have no emotional attack. Not even a Garcia. I don't believe I follow any of them. I might.
I
Chatter up.
follow the people that I like, so I do.
See,
Like
I'm not
I
on
follow
there enough to even
Teresa.
know what they say.
I follow Teresa. I follow Jennifer Aiden. I follow Dolores. I think I follow Jen Fessler as well.
I think if any of them say something interesting, it'll end up on Facebook anyway.
Yeah, so you really don't really.
So I really don't. That's why I don't follow. Now, Chatter Up might, but I know I don't. I don't follow none of them. It's just they're not that interesting to me. That's why I be like, well, I'm sometimes surprised at my response. What did you think about that over the contrast between the overnight the guys' nights out?
Talking about when he had the allergic reaction.
Yeah, first of all, I thought it was disgusting that Joe sit up there with these other men and talk about his sister like that. I think that is a straight up. I don't even know what words to call him.
Yeah.
You know, like he letting them come in pajamas and letting them talk about his sister. Like it's like
I mean, he's horrible. Like I
I
think
think
like
that's like me and my sister don't get along. I could talk about it like a dog. You can't.
yeah.
Like that's insane to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane. Like I could talk about it like a dog, but you can't.
Well.
That's crazy to me. And his when the EMT said to ask John Fuda, is that how your lips normally look?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's just like Joe has shown his true colors time and time again,
It's
especially when
disgusting.
it's concerning Teresa. And it's just like, dude, you're really letting this show come between you and your sister because, to be honest with you, their problems really ain't that deep. It's
It
really
ain't.
just her issues with Melissa. That's what the
And
real issue is.
somebody posted, I can't remember what season it was, but Caroline was still on it. Remember they went somewhere and they had like a counselor or somebody to come out and talk to them. They were like in a house.
It's been so long since I
Okay,
rewatched
they
the
were in
show.
like in a house. Anyway, the I don't know what this person's credentials were, so I'm just going to say counselor, a relationship counselor. And in the
Okay.
relationship counselor, she told them that they need to have Joe. He was talking to Joe and Teresa that they need to have a relationship outside of their spouses. Their spouses do
Yeah.
not need to be involved with their
Yeah.
relationship.
But to
That
be
they,
honest with you, I don't think Louis would have a problem with Teresa being cool with
I
Joe.
don't. I believe that. I
It's
believe that.
Melissa. I'm telling you,
It's
like,
100% Melissa. I believe that as well. No, it's not just Melissa though. Joe has this idea that he wants them to cool, and it's not. It's absurd at this point. Like that's not gonna happen.
well, you say he has this idea that what?
He wants them to. I'll give you an example of why I believe this. When Teresa got married, everybody was asked to be in the wedding within um Joe,
Yeah.
except Melissa. Now, I personally, I think about that. I have some in-laws. I would not be upset.
Melissa was just doing
Matter of
that for
fact, I'll even
TV.
say this. Matter of fact, me and my sister, my brother got married. Was that last year or year before? It wasn't last May. It was maybe. It was maybe. It was year before last. No,
2022.
no, no, no. It was last year. It was Easter weekend. Me and my sister wasn't in the wedding. We wasn't mad. Like we're not going to show up at our brother's wedding. That wasn't
Yeah.
an option.
Yeah.
Regardless if you like the girl or you can't stand her, that's still my brother.
Yeah.
And we sat there. We brought presents. Actually, they had a digital wedding thing, so I just sent $100. And you smile and you dance with your brother and you take pictures when they ask you to and you put on a smile. It ain't I don't care that we weren't included.
Yeah.
And we didn't. And I don't care if it's all of her side of the it's her. We don't care. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I really
And
did.
Melissa was just doing that for TV because goddamn well Teresa was not about to put you in there with it. I don't even know why it was even a topic of conversation to begin with. Why on earth would you think that you were gonna be in Teresa's wedding? Why the hell would you think that?
I mean, I wouldn't even have her as an usher.
Like, like
Somebody
that's my
passing out
whole thing. It's just
programs.
like why on
Like,
earth did Melissa even think that Teresa was gonna even make her a bridesmaid in the first place,
and
knowing
she
damn
didn't
well they don't even like
everything
each
that
other?
everything that she included her in, she had suck face the whole time. Even when they invited her to her like wedding, they gave a surprise bridal shower. Everybody smiling but her. Everybody having a good time. It was almost like she was a fish out of water. She didn't want to be there. That's fine. You're invited to this whole weekend. You send a text. I ain't invited to nothing. I'm not going to nothing but this, so and so, so and so, and then complain every day that you on camera. That's
Yeah,
utterly absurd to me.
yeah,
What you think
yeah.
about Lewis is boys' night out?
A hot mess too.
Lewis wants to be emotionally intelligent so bad. And I want to give him credit. And the problem is he comes across as a creep because we don't know him.
Yeah,
But he speaks from an emotional intelligence point of view. But you could tell that it's a struggle, which is okay. A lot of people struggle with that. Like, like, dude, this therapy, the back of my head is telling me what my therapist has always told me, but you messing with me. There's
yeah.
still a little thug inside of me, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to contain it. So that's what it seems like it goes on. But for some people that really don't understand, like, intense therapy, like, he this is a dude. When I watch him, all I could do is smile because I was like, this is a dude whose girlfriend told him he was bipolar, wrote a letter for him to read to a psychiatrist, and he did it. Now
Crazy.
he told the psychiatrist, my girlfriend told me to do that. That's why the psychiatrist wrote the letter. Was like, and it was submitted in court. So I'm not gonna say I get him because we really haven't gotten a chance to know him. But
Yeah,
this is a simp. This is a guy who's a pushover. I don't think he is the big bad wolf. I think people might think he more of a punk than he is of a creep.
yeah,
And he says too much. He shares too much. It's just like the whole thing with the pajamas. It was
yeah,
probably a joke and the girls teased him about it, but it comes across creepy. Or it's just like he was being interviewed with somebody recently, some guy, and the guy was like, I'm actually surprised once I get to know you how nice of a guy it is. And he had made the comment that I was really impressed that the girls were saying you take him out on dates. Now the girls probably didn't use that verbiage. Maybe they did. They probably said that we hang out with Lewis individually, like
yeah,
what most people who have a stepdad hangs out with their stepdad periodically. My
yeah,
stepfather took us to 5-star restaurants. Took me, I personally, to a 5-star restaurant because he said that so a man wouldn't be able to impress me with this.
yeah,
And I was only like, I guess I was 15 or 16. He wasn't trying to get with me. That's gross.
yeah.
He was trying to expose me to things that I had not been exposed to. And
Right.
he was kind of bougie. So it just was what it was. They're still married, by the way. My
I
friend.
mean, that's their step. I mean, they're still stepdad. Like at this point,
Yeah.
like they've been together what, like 2, 3 years now. So
Yeah.
2021 to 2024. Like I don't think he's going anywhere no time soon. It doesn't feel that way. So it's
Yeah.
just like you can tell that like they have a relationship with him. They have a relationship with
And
his
that's
kids.
what's the saving grace because these girls have watched their mom. They know what their mother has gone through and the fact that their dad is gone. So if these girls like him, he's got to be okay.
Yeah,
Because I think that if they didn't, we would know about it.
yeah.
They would
I
know. And
agree.
I really do believe that. And Joe is so disgusting. The AMTs are there. Everybody hang food will look like he about to explode,
Oh my.
and he in the bathroom pee. He just nasty to be nasty. And his hands is little. I, I, I ain't gonna even tell you what I was thinking when I was watching Joe. Cause you know he's only like 5'6".
Yeah.
So
Wait, he that short?
yeah, he's short. He's only like 5'6".
That's crazy. I did not know that. He looks taller on TV.
Mm-mm. I thought he was too until one day I was like, is Melissa taller than him? But she had on heels. And I Googled, how tall is Joe.
Fugazi or
Yeah,
Joey. You talking about John or
he's
Joe?
5'6".
Well, you talking about John or Joe?
Joe Gorga, he's 5'6".
Oh well, yeah. I don't know why you didn't think that. Joe Gordon looks small on camera.
I didn't know he was there. His hands are small.
Yeah, he's small on camera. I don't know why you thought Joe Gordon was tall.
But he looks shorter to me for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty much it. I don't
Yeah.
know what else happened. But
I
I guess
mean, nothing else. Pretty much,
yeah,
we discussed everything.
yeah. And I think next week is gonna be the nightmare, so we gonna see.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess we will be getting up out of here, you guys.
All right. All right, y'all.
See you guys next week for the finale of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I wish, and one last thing with what we had, I really wish Teresa would have just kept ignoring Melissa.
Oh, she didn't in the finale.
You didn't see the preview. She was calling Melissa
I
a
don't know if she's
whore.
talking to her though. You think that's who she's talking to?
Melissa responded back and said, "I'm gonna make sure Antonia knows her aunt thinks her mom is a whore."
I mean, I don't know if she is or not, but
Melissa always do that though. She always dragging her kids in it because if you recall when Jacqueline called her out about having the fake nose, wow, I'm gonna let Antonia know that you think, girl,
I'm
stop.
like all the things that they talking about Teresa, and you tripping off of one word. Y'all talk about Teresa in every episode for at least
Incessantly,
2 seasons. Like, and you
incessantly,
let people talk about her around you and say nothing.
incessantly.
It's
Talk about
crazy.
her incessantly. But it's just that she always bring Antonia in it. Like, what you got to bring Antonia in there for?
I'm like, at this point, they know that but they'll figure it out one day. Children always grow up and judge their parents. Hey, Callie.
Y'all just been talking away and talking and listen, I just want to dial in and say I don't think Teresa's daughters would show if they didn't like Louis. Y'all were just talking about that a second ago.
Exactly.
I don't think
I
they.
definitely think Gia
I
100%
know
would.
she would because she's very opinionated. Go ahead.
She is. I think she might whisper it to her mom once. I bet it would never be a full blown topic in this show at all because of how much they support their mom. Of course, they wouldn't want that to be a public type of conversation. So I think it's a good chance we would know, even though we might get a little hint that maybe the oldest one is like, I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
we
I just
haven't
feel
even
like
got met. Even if you think that she would care, you're rubbing your mic again.
Always, always, right? I don't even know how.
Even if
I still have an inkling. I still have a feeling Gia would have said that.
I I
Now
think that
maybe them other ones may not have said anything, or they might have said little hints of that. I think Gia would be straightforward, like, "Mom, I don't really like
I
Louis."
agree.
Like,
I kind of agree with that.
definitely. So, and I don't even. And to be honest with you, I think Louis doesn't treat them bad. Like, I don't think he, does anything wrong to them for them to feel that way. I think he probably is a good stepdad. It's just all this other stuff with Marge, which is probably why Gia don't like Margaret.
Well, but don't you think they know about all the other stuff, all the talk, even if they're not involved in it? That they hear what's going on. They heard about all the negative comments about the video he was in initially that Mars
Oh
just
yeah,
wouldn't drop.
all of
You
that.
know, so I
Yeah.
think I think they. I don't know that they would show us if they didn't like him because there's no way all that could be going on and they don't question something. Especially because wasn't somebody recently saying that Teresa is always sad and down and something's always
But
going on
they're
behind the
talking about
scenes?
this stuff. This has been going on literally. First of all, let me say this.
You
When
said
she
they are
met
talking about this stuff or they're not talking about this stuff?
who? You talking about the kids?
Yeah.
They haven't talked about it. Well, Gia has on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, she mentioned that this is all about to be over. This has been the lady actually was suing Louis before he even met Teresa because Louis wanted his ring back. He wanted the ring back and he wanted that $100,000 back, and he didn't want her. He wanted. They had a joint account that had $250,000 on it. She took 100, and it was 150 that was supposed to go toward the wedding. He wanted that money back, and he wanted the ring. The ring that he got her was, I think, $155,000. So he wanted that back, not like personal stuff that he got her over time. And he was able to keep that vacation home. That
Okay.
lady is, and their house is worth like 1 point some odd $1 million. Lewis isn't broke. If you read these documents, you know, I mean, if you or you ain't got to read it, you can listen to the podcast.
So you don't think he is broke?
Oh, he definitely isn't.
Okay. Because the way, y'all watch it all the time. I've just been
and
watching
not
it
just
recently. But
he paid cash for this house.
it
Now he
seems
just
like sometimes he's digging into Teresa's pocket on when
No.
you listen to the back chatter.
No, yes, if you listen to the back steps, but if you listen to, I sent y'all this podcast more than one occasion. I advise you all, like for real, if you in a car for an hour, I beg you to listen to it, because I guarantee you there's no way you can listen to that and then walk away and not feel differently, because it's a lot that can't be said because they both got gag orders against one another.
Okay.
So this lady is a trip for real. I'll resend it in the group again. But this lady is, and this isn't just a Lewis thing. She's done this to previous ex. This is the lawsuit that we watching pay out on television. He won that lawsuit. The judge in the proceedings not only threw out her case, they in open court said that this lady is obsessed with Lewis. This isn't my words. That's the judge's word.
So everything that Lewis is involved in is in no way dipping into Teresa's pockets, from what you
I
can.
have no idea, but
That's
he
kind
has
of what I've
money of
always
his
thought.
own, because based off of, wait a minute, I'm going to put you on pause. Yeah. Based off of the lawsuit, just to kind of put this in perspective, he bought I think it was like $700,000 house, vacation house. She moved in with him and he paid her mortgage while she went back to school to get her license to be some kind of therapist.
Okay.
He started when she graduated or finished or whatever. He got an LLC so she could practice under that LLC. She went to practice, and he proposed to her, and it was a weird proposal too. He climbed up to some mountain. It was weird, but anyway, he proposed to her, and they started to plan a wedding. He gave her a budget of $150,000. He put $150,000 in the account, and she took $100,000 out and put in her purse.
I'm heading out because I have to
I
work
got
in the
you.
morning.
Okay, D. We won't be long. Bye bye.
All right.
All right, love you guys.
Which would be their second breakup.
Uh-huh.
And then they end up getting back together, but only under the condition that $100,000 was hers. So now he had to put $250,000 in an account so she can get $100,000 out. He's a simp. And she went from, you had to read the credit card statements. All of this is in documents, in court documents, that she went from spending on average like $40 some odd a day to spending like $480 some dollars. It was 400 and something dollars a day. Yeah. In the month of December, the month before they broke up, which was December, I think, of 2019, Lewis basically was stressed out, he said, and he went to the hospital. She took some more money out of the account that he was really upset about, and they were about to break up again, and that's when she wrote letters in first person as if she was him, that she asked him to read to his psychologist, and they read those letters word for word on that podcast.
No.
When it didn't work, this is the truth. When it didn't work the first time, she wrote another letter asking for lithium, and it was almost like she went to a DSM-4 and wrote out the things that you need to do, or whatever the diagnosis is, the list of things to be bipolar.
Right. Oh.
Verbatim. She wanted him on lithium.
Oh my God.
And she mentions it. If you think I'm lying or over exaggerating, I'm telling you, these two lawyers did this podcast. It's on the Bravo Doc. It's called the Bravo Doc. It's on Spotify. I couldn't find it on I normally listen to my podcast on YouTube Music. And I couldn't find it there, but I went to Spotify and I found it. If you got an hour and a half, I'm telling you, it is a very interesting listen. And these ladies are lawyers, and these ladies break it down. And these are not Teresa Pro people, because they laughed at Lewis. Lewis obviously is having a nervous breakdown. And his one
is
of those
still having a nervous breakdown.
No, in this
Okay.
petition. The one of the psychiatrists wrote a letter on his behalf that he presented in court. And in the letter, he said that he needs to get as far away from this lady as possible. You don't have to take my word for it. Listen to it yourself.
Yeah.
That lady is not all there. And she seems like the type of person that it's kind of like, I knew somebody who I work with who had an eating disorder, who went to school to learn how to, she went to, I don't know what it's called. She was like a nutritionist because she wanted to learn how to
eat right.
No.
She wanted to learn the opposite?
Yeah, she wanted to know how far she could take her eating disorder.
No way.
Oh, yes way. She talked about it openly.
Oh.
Because it was a part of her illness. It was like a part of her illness. And when I was listening to this lady who's a therapist, it made me think about that. It's almost like she became a therapist because she's mentally ill. It's you have to, if y'all think, y'all don't have to believe me, listen to it yourself. It reads like a sick person.
Well, that sounds scary.
It reads like single white female, like that kind of stuff. Like, I'm obsessed with this person. And you know, it's really, really weird. And this lady actually is a mother. That's what shocked me. Like, she's tripping. And she wrote a letter. She wanted him to read to his son, but it was very sexual in nature, and he didn't feel comfortable reading it.
Now, is this the nutritionist or the Louis ex?
This is Louis ex.
Okay, so is she the mother of his sons?
No.
Oh, okay.
He does accuse her repeatedly of having a drinking problem. I probably should have mentioned that. And the drinking problem is in one of his, in the petition that Louis said, he said that I can't believe we watched this. Oh, yes, we did. We mentioned that. Well, I was watching a show. You know, I watched a show while
talking.
Louis' ex apparently drank a lot to his mother, that child's mother. That's mentioned in their petition.
Oh, okay.
It was triggering for the son.
I bet.
And it's that conversation with his son when he realized, I got to get rid of this girl because she apparently drank a lot.
Okay, well, I won't drag it out. I just want to drop in and give my comments on the Teresa and the daughter situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
interesting.
it. Well,
Oh,
it is what it is. I guess that's the it for today.
yeah.
I do encourage people to go listen to it. And this lady this is supposed to be a series. This was a part 1, so I think it's
Oh,
more to this story. But y'all have to. They read Louis' petition almost verbatim, so y'all just have to listen to it.
yeah, sounds
But
like
that's
it.
it.
All righty.
All right, peace out,
Talk to
y'all.
y'all later. Bye bye.
Bye.